All right, so welcome to the next step. So we're going to build in the neck joint. To do that, I want to actually make the neck a little bit longer. So I'm going to grab the top here. I'm going to do a press pull. I'm going to grab the top. I'm just going to drag it up a few more centimeters. I think that looks pretty decent. And we still need to have a front plate like this. Otherwise, this is going to look really weird because it's going to be all black layers of wood. And these other ones are going to be kind of clean. So I'm going to create a layer just like this, just like I did before. So here I'm going to click on it. I'm going to grab a rectangle. Anywhere on here doesn't really matter. And I'm going to extend it, anywhere. And then I'm going to go, collinear. So I'm going to line this one up with here. I'm going to line this one with here. Why not? And then I'm going to dimension in this bottom line. Actually, escape. I need to drag it up to the other side first. I'm going to dimension in this bottom line and then here. Okay, that's super weird. Here to there. Okay. And didn't give me an option to type in. And then do it to 0.5 just like I did before. And then I'm ready to extrude that. No, I'm going to cut the joints in first real quick. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to actually put a little square here. And that's thickness. Click straight square on. And then here is going to be 1. Oh, nope, that was wrong. That should have been thickness. Enter. And then I need to dimension this outside edge to 1. Awesome. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start here in the corner. I'm going to do that one as 1 tab. And then thickness, enter, enter. And I'm going to create a rectangular pattern. And I want this cut out to also be, I don't want that one. So this is another good lesson that if you get something where there's 2 lines, you can't grab the one you want. I just got there. If you hold down the left button, you can select which one you want. You can see what the different ones it grabs. By holding down the left button on whatever you want to select, we'll let you select everything. Sketch line. There it is. And now I'm going to drag this up. And you can see I actually grabbed that sketch line on accident. That's okay though. Zoom in and right about there. Okay, click OK. And I like it. These are a little small. I might do something like 0.75 here for the neck. Nope. I don't want to redo all that. I'm just going to leave it as 1.0 and leave it with what it is. You can fix yours if you'd like. And then I'm going to extrude this. So I'm going to extrude this. I'm going to do it a negative thickness. I don't want to cut. I want to create a new body. Click OK. And let's see. This is going to be the side neck. This is going to be the front neck. That's not how you spell neck. That's okay. Front neck, and then I need to do a back neck. And the front neck and back neck are exactly the same. So all I'm going to do is go here, flip it back around, and I'm going to project this shape onto it, rotate back to the front, and just go ahead and extrude that here as a negative thickness, but not cut. New body, click OK. And now that's the back neck. And one more thing I want to do. I want to create joints from this head into the neck above. And I think, I'm trying to think exactly how I want to do that. I want to pause it, try a few things, and then I'll come back. All right, so I think I have an idea here. So what we're going to do is, remember the top of this neck is made of pieces of plywood that are laying like this way with us, right? Parallel to those finger joints. Which means the top of it is a bunch of burnt and uneven edges. which won't be a good glue joint to the head. So what we're going to want to do is lay a small piece of wood across here, flat, so that will be a good glue joint. It'll give that whole surface to glue to the head. That'll help a lot. And then we'll drag up these two outside edges so that they go a few layers into the head. And then we'll join in that horizontal wood on the inside, making a mechanical joint there. So this is how we're going to do it. So first of all, let's create this one. And we're going to create those long tabs that go into the head. First, I'm going to grab here and then go down to that. It's not snapping. See how it should snap to that corner? Which means whatever that is isn't on my drawing. So I'm going to project this corner. I'm going to hold down the button and that vertex, that's the point I want on there. And then over here, I'm going to want that same, I'm going to hold it down and I'm going to do that vertex. I could have done this whole rectangle. That would have given me the same corner, but I want to do it really precisely. No need to, I guess, but click OK. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it down to that corner and then here. And now you can see how it snaps into place. It's got that little square around it. That lets me know it's snapped into the right location. And then I'm going to extrude these two. And this is going to go up into the head. It's going to break into the head and get glued into slots for it. So I'm going to do this one. Whoops. I'm going to extrude this one and this one. And I'm going to do this a thickness. And I'm going to do it 3 thicknesses tall. And so what I'll do is inside my head, the bottom of the head will be a 1 thickness. And then I'll build up 2 layers of plywood on the inside of my head so that these can go kind of through there. And we'll see that process in a second. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, maybe just 2 layers. Now I'm going to create a rectangle, a drawing right here at the bottom. And I'm going to actually get rid of the side necks real quick and the torso. And this is basically that space in between those 2 tabs. I'm going to create a rectangle inside that. Again, you can see it goes to a square, so that means I've got that edges. And I'm going to actually, so if I did it this way, this piece of wood would glue to the bottom of the head really well, but it wouldn't glue to the neck well because of that whole same argument for the black uneven surface. So I need to mechanically join this to the neck. So let me turn the neck back on so you can see what I mean. So here, I need to put a tab going into this side, holding this little piece of wood together. So let me turn the neck off real quick. And then we're just going to, back to the top, add a tab here. And you can see kind of what it does in a second. 1 centimeter, and then here, thickness. Enter, and then 1 on this side as well. I accidentally clicked off. Oh well, I'm just going to dimension these real quick. This is what you do when you make mistakes. You just got to live with it. 1, and then I'm going to collinear this and that. Awesome. And I'm just going to center both of them. So I'm going to take this one and center on that one, and this one and center on that one. Awesome. Now I've got those 2 little tabs I need. I'm going to extrude this. And I want to extrude this up away from the neck. So let's make sure I'm in the right direction. Yep. So I'm going to go thickness, 1 thickness up. And I'm not going to do a cut. I'm going to do a new body. I'm going to click OK. And now at this point I need to do some cutting. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to say I'm going to cut the side neck with, let me turn some things back on. Where's my front and back pieces? Okay, sorry about that. I lost my faces, so I must have done a join command. So I lost them. I'm going back and trying to find these 2 pieces that I lost, the front neck and the back neck. I lost them right at this extrude. So I must have done a join instead. So I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to do an edit feature. And yeah, so I did join, but because they were touching this corner here, they fused those front and back. So I'm actually going to turn them off really quick. And now I'm going to click OK on this. And now I won't have lost them. All right, sorry about that confusion. I was like, I'm sure I built those two things. And then I'm going to drag this down here in the right-hand corner. I'm going to drag this back out in time to go back to there. Okay, so now I need to do some cutting. So I'm going to actually cut this side piece using this piece, the front and back of the neck, and that part. I'm going to say OK, and in one fell swoop, I've got all of them cut. So you can see now, this will be like a nice, flat, clean surface to glue to the head. And then these two sides will actually extrude into the head 2 layers beyond here. So I'll need to put, the layer of the head will count as 1, and then 1 more layer of plywood just inside the head, just to make it thick enough for that to stick through. And maybe I even put some, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually put in a little shoulder here, so it's more like the other ones I've done. So I'm going to go here, click on this, and then I'm going to put in a rectangle that's like here-ish, and another one in this corner like there-ish. And now what I'm going to do is line them up. So I want it to be collinear with this one collinear with that. That'll give me 2 thicknesses. And then I'm just going to dimension this top one. And yeah, that look 0.5 looks good. I want it to be this small shoulder. Enter. And then here is 0.5 already. Look how nice that turned out. And then I'm just going to extrude these 2 and cut them out. And I'm just going to pull them all the way through and say all the way through. Click OK. All right, so now these 2 little tabs stick up into the head. They glue it on, and then this surface glues to the head as well. And then it's mechanically kind of joined to the neck this way. So this will give us a really, really strong neck joint. So as we grab our head and adjust it down, we don't pop it, snap it off one day, hopefully. All right. So yeah, I think that's it for the neck. So I'm going to create a group, call it the neck, and then I'm going to add some, oh, let me add this thing actually. This is the, I don't know, the glue. How about this top vertebrae? That's what those bones are called in your head. Vertebrae, B-R-A-E maybe, vertebrae. As a former science teacher, you'd think I would know how to spell vertebrae right away. I think I got it right, but maybe I messed that up. Don't judge me if I did. All right. Although maybe I deserve judgment. I'm going to turn everything back on, just kind of see where we're at right now. And we're getting really close. Like now we've got our little stick figure almost all the way done. We need to build a head. I'm going to pause the video real quick, think through how I want to approach the head, and then I'll come back real quick. All right, let's get back to it. So I think I have an idea of what we should do. So to create the head, I'm going to actually get rid of everything but the neck. I'm going to focus in on just the neck. And I'm going to create a sketch right here on the top surface. That way I can start building the head right there. And now this is the tricky part. So I'm actually going to turn everything back on. I actually want to see everything. I need to figure out how big to make the head. And measuring your head and this head wouldn't help you because it's just a different shape and everything. So what we're going to do is create a construction line. We got to find the center of this neck, and then we're going to go right here to the corner, and then we're going to do a rectangle, and we're going to do a center rectangle. So that means that we can start right here in the center and drag our rectangle out. I'm going to turn off the construction lines. And now I'm just trying to find a dimension that looks sort of decent-ish with the size of, I'm going to look at the top, that didn't help. I'm going to just try something, and I can always change its dimensions later. So I'm going to go like, that looks pretty good. So maybe I'm going to do 9 1/4 by, that looks too big. That looks too long. I want something a little more, yeah, maybe I'll do something like 9 1/4 by, I don't know, like 15. So let me try that. 15 that way. Tab. 9.25. I'm going to write down these two numbers because I'm going to need them for the rest of the dimensions as well. So let's see, 9.25 and 15. And I'm going to say enter. Okay, so I've got that drawn. Now, just to get a feel for what it's going to look like, I'm going to actually just extrude this up as a solid piece that goes up. I don't care about any of that on the inside. 9.25. And then I'm going to say, not cut, I want to do a new body. And click OK. Obviously, it's not going to stay a big solid chunk like this, but I just want to kind of see what the head looks and feels like that size. So, I don't know. Maybe it needs to move forward a little bit. So I'm just going to play around a little bit trying to figure out. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to move it. I'm going to just inch it forward a centimeter and see what that looks like. And, oh, I see, I like that better now that the head's a little farther forward. I might move it just a tad more and see what it looks like. Click OK. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So if I look at it from this side, I kind of like it to have the head sort of forward leaning. You may not, so you can kind of do what you want with that. All right, so I think I have my dimensions now. So what I'm going to do is, I made a mistake actually. I probably should have extruded out this center piece as well. So I'm going to turn the neck off real quick because I don't want to accidentally fuse it. I'm going to create here, and I'm going to extrude this, and then I'm going to go down to object and extrude it down to the bottom. I'm just going to fill that hole in because I don't want a hole where it used to be. Okay, so now I've got my head positioned. I like the size of these dimensions, so I'm going to use the 9.25 by 15. If you didn't like it, here's what you would do. You would simply right-click back onto this sketch. I'd go to Edit Sketch. And then I would just dimension the sides differently. So this dimension was 9.25. Okay, yeah, I know, but where's the change? Oh, that was the wrong sketch. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. The reason that's the wrong sketch. That's why it wasn't working. I'm going to go back to, yeah, this was the original sketch that I had. So I'm going to right click, and all I did to find out what sketch it was is I just highlighted it, and it shows me what the sketch was. So I'm going to right click this. I'm going to go to Edit Sketch, and here's where I could say, oh, you know what? I want it wider. I want it to be 11 wide this way. And this one, whoops, 11 wide that way. And I wanted it to be, I don't know, 20 this way. That felt like a better, maybe I wanted a bigger head. And then I would just go to Finish Sketch. It would bring me back to where I was on the thing, and it would have that bigger head. And I could just look at it and say, okay, yeah, I really like that look. That's really cool. For me, I like the other one, so I'm going to Control Z that, undo those dimensionings, and that's what I wanted. So Finish Sketch. All right. So you can play around with the head and the position and all that stuff and get it to exactly what you want. Now, once you've done that, we actually need to shrink this down to be one layer of plywood. So instead of being the whole thick head, we're going to bring it down and just make the bottom. So I'm going to turn off everything but the bottom of the head, which is this one. And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to do a press pull. I think I can do this. Let's see. I need to get... Oh, maybe I can't. Trying to get it so that what's left over is a certain dimension, but it's actually asking me to do that. So I'm going to cancel that press pull. That's not a good way to go about it. I need to find the extrusion that did this distance, and that was this one. And I'm going to edit feature, and I'm just going to do here, instead I'm going to do thickness here. And I'm going to click OK, and now it's filled and everything's just right. The other thing I could do actually is I could just, go back and undo it and then create this new platform wherever. So however you want to create that is fine. But that's how I just did it. Okay. And now I need to create the sides and then the top. So all the sides are going to be 19, everything's going to be 9.25, 15 for me. I want to create sort of a square face. If you want a rectangular face, just change the dimensions. It doesn't matter. You just do what you want to do. And then, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to create an extrusion here. And I'm going to do this one to there. And then I'm going to dimension that. Should have done that when I drew it, but I don't know why. To thickness, enter. And then everything is good. And then this one should be that, all right, cancel. It's already dimensioned. And then I'm going to extrude this. This is a little bit tricky because I actually drew it on the wrong side, because this is the, let me turn the neck on real quick. Yep, this is the top. I'm going to go up. So here I want to go up actually 9.25 minus a thickness. And then I'm going to do a two-sided. And then on the bottom, I'm going to go down a thickness. So this was 9.25 minus the thickness plus the thickness down there. So it's 9.25 in total. And I'm not going to cut. I'm going to do a new body. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to name body 38 is bottom head. And this one is our head. So right head. And then, yeah, I'm actually cut the joints in these so that I can project out the other side. What's the easiest way to do this? Yeah, let's do that. I'm just going to cut the heads. So the head from the side, which will be seen a bunch. So the front, I want to have it to be like this, where there's plywood in the corners and not a cut edge in the corners. I don't know why. Oh, that's drifting off the road. Another reason. So I'm going to actually create the third side, which is on this front right here. So I'm going to turn the right head off, and I'm going to do another sketch here. And this is going to be the front face. From this corner to that edge, that should be thickness. And then enter. I'm going to extrude this. Oh, the same thing I just did. I should have done it from the bottom side. Two-sided extrusion. The top. Actually, I can do this. If I turn the right side on, I can just do a two object for both of them. So there, I'm going to that surface. And then on the other edge here, I'm going to go to that surface. And I'm going to do a new body instead of a cut. And I'm going to call that the front head. Or maybe, actually, we have a name for the front of the head. It's called the face. So there's the face. And there. And just let me make sure I lined it up properly. So I'm going to turn the left leg on. Okay, yep. So that's facing the front. I'd hate to have my face facing the back of the lamp. That would be embarrassing later. And now I just need to start cutting some joints in all of these. So I'm going to start actually with this face because I want those edges to look really good. Yeah. So I'm going to turn the right head and the bottom head off. I'm just going to go here. And I'm going to use the same technique all the way around. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go thickness. And then, whoops, tab 1, enter. I'm going to center this one, boom, here, here, and then over here I'm going to go the same thing. I'm going to go 1, tab, thickness, and then center. And I'm going to create rectangular pattern using these. Those. And I'm going to do, let me drag it, see which one I'm dealing with. This one, I'm going to do it symmetric. And I'm trying to leave about a centimeter of space, about this much space above, maybe a little bit less. And then let's just play around. So let's just increase the number of tabs. Well, that looks just about perfect. Okay, so I'm going to write these numbers down because I want them later. So I'm going to do it horizontally the same way. So I got 3.5 and 5 are the two numbers I need for my horizontal ones. So I'm going to just click OK. I'm actually drag this dimension down to here. I hate how it puts those dimensions like all over the place. It's hard to see everything else. All right, same exact thing, but this time I'm going to do it horizontally. So that's going to be thickness 1, and then another rectangle here, thickness 1. I'm going to center both of those rectangles. There and there. Then I'm going to create a rectangular pattern and draw. I'm just going to click on just the 6 I need. Okay, and I know this needs to be 3.5, and this needs to be 5. And then down here, it's this one I'm dealing with, so it's symmetric, and okay. Now we're all good. We just need to extrude these real quick, so here, here, here. Now, one thing you can do, like when I made this, well, we'll talk about that. There's more than one way to make this piece, obviously. So I was going to talk about a different way of making it, but I'm not going to worry about it, actually. And I'm just going to hit enter. Awesome. And yeah, so that's the back, that's the front. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back. That will allow me to just be kind of done. So let me turn the bottom of the head on. So one thing I can do when I do this is I can copy and paste this piece to the back. So I'm going to hit a move command. I'm going to click there. I'm going to click create copy, and I'm going to drag it backwards. And I'll line this up in just a second with the alignment tool. So I don't need to get it perfect. I just need to get, I don't even need to get it close. Alignments. I want to line this. Let's see, let me think about which one's which. From to. So yeah, the one that's going to move is you click on first. That's the from. So I'm going to go from this location. So this outside face needs to be lined up with this outside face. And I'm going to say OK. And now it is lined up. And now if I turn the right side on, you can see what I need to do now is I'll cut the joints on the left and right with the front and back of the head. I just need to do joints on the top and the bottom. And it looks like, yeah, it's going to be cut away. So I'm going to do a cut away in the top and bottom of this one as well. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to turn everything off but the right head. And I'm going to do the top and the bottom, and I'm going to cut those free as well. So, yeah, there'll be holes. So I'm just going to click on here. I'm going to create that same rectangle right in the middle. So thickness 1, do another one at the bottom. Thickness 1. I'm going to center both of these. And I want those corners on the side to be cut away corners, not wood corners, if that makes sense to you. Create rectangular pattern here, 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 and there. And now I'm going to drag this over. And I'm going to line it up where it goes to the corner, but I don't know if that's, whenever it's close like that, I don't never know if it's, no, it looks good. So I'm zooming in all the way, and I don't see any gap. So what I wouldn't want to do is, I would have fine with going a little too far, but going not quite far enough creates this little edge of wood that's ugly and will break off and just not look very nice. So once I have that set in the right place, I'm just going to change this one to symmetric. And then I'm going to add some quantity here just to make it look nice. So that's this one. Or I've got to do it in odd numbers. I don't know, 9's going to be too much. 9's too much. So I'm going to use 7. I like the 7. And I'm going to say, do both sides? Yep. Then I'm going to say, okay. And now I'm going to extrude this. And because I'm going to cut these other ends, I don't need to worry about them. So I'm going to use the front and the back to cut them. And I'm going to do negative thickness. Enter. And now I have the side ready to go. So I'm going to take the face and face one. That's the back head. Okay. And now I'm going to just cut, I'm going to cut this one using that one and that one. Keep the tools, click OK. And now you can see if I remove the face and the back of the head, I have that one fully cut. So now I can actually copy and paste that one to the other side. So I'm going to do the bottom of the head on, and I am going to take this one and move it. Do a move command, so the M key, I'm going to click create a copy, and I'm going to drag it over some of the way. That's fine, just like that. And then I'm going to use the align key, the line tool. I'm going to say I'm going to go from here, and I want it to line that face to line up with the outside edge of the bottom of the head. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to turn the face and the back of the head on. And now I need to cut the bottom here with all of these. So I'm going to click on cut. I'm going to say that's my target. That's what I'm cutting with. Whoops, just turned one of them off on accident. I'm just going to grab the other two on the list. Right head and the back of the head. And I got that cut. I'm going to say, okay, keep my tools. Give it a second to actually make that cut. Now, let's just do a quick move and see what this does. So I want to move the bottom here. I'm just going to drag it out of the way and take a look. So yeah, that looks good. I'm looking at all the edges and they look all like they're supposed to, so cancel. Just wanted to make sure that was cut properly. And now they're all ready to go. I need to just turn, I need to move, do a copy of the bottom. So I'm going to do a move command again. Click on the bottom. Whoops. Click on the bottom. I'm going to create copy, and then just drag it up somewhat. Click OK. I'm going to roll back up here, and I'm going to use the align tool and say I want this. It's being persnickety about selecting the one I want. There it is. I want this one, that outside face of the top of the head, to be aligned with this outside surface, and click OK. And when I'm using the align tool like that, the one thing I want to make sure I'm not doing is clicking on a point inside of it. I want to click on that just gray surface. Otherwise, it'll take a point and align it to another point, and that'll make it all crazy looking. You don't want that, unless you want that, right? Unless there's a time when you do want that. So there's the front of it. I need to cut a hole for the light to come out of. So I'll do that part next. So I'm going to click on the face here. And I've got a bunch of options with the hole. So I can create, I could just grab a line tool and start cutting a weird face shape into it if I wanted to. I could design whatever I wanted. Heck, I could go online and find sort of a fun design here, like, what's that superhero with the ink blot face? Let me just go look for that. Oh, I can't do that on this one. So if I want to do something like that, I would have to cut that out in Inkscape. I'm going to cut this out here with a circle, but you could do it however you would like. Be as creative as you'd like. You could actually use also, there's polygons. So you could use a bunch of sided different polygons. I'll show you that real quick. The one we're looking for is probably going to be the inscribe polygon. That way you can define it with the circle that you're going to use. So if I did that, well, first I need to find the center of the face. Or maybe you don't. I want to find the center of the face. So I'm going to just take a construction line down across the diagonal. So now the halfway point of this construction line is the center of the face. So now I can come here and I can grab my polygon tool. And actually I want to do the other way. So the difference is that when you define this polygon, if you use this one, the polygon is outside of the circle you draw. So it'll be bigger than the circle. Whereas this one, the polygon will be inside the kind of the circle you define. So the inside will be better so that we don't accidentally break out to the edge here. So I'm going to go right here to the circle. And you can see, let me turn off the construction. You can see how that polygon's on the inside of the circle. And I think I'm going to do it so that one is vertical. And I'm going to change the number of sides. Let me tab to change the sides. I want you to do 8 because I'd like it to be flat on both. Yeah, that's what I want. I think that might look pretty cool. About like, yay. Now see how it's not quite rotated, like it's kind of tippy a little bit? I don't want that in the final version, but I can fix that easily once I click. So, or maybe I want 12. Oh, that's too many, maybe 10. Yeah, I'm kind of digging that. I'm going to go with 10. Okay. I'm going to click. Now, to make sure that this is perfectly flat, we have a constraint tool that says, this one right here, it says horizontal vertical. Actually, I don't like 10 because I want this to be flat on this side. So let me go back and take a look at that and see. I'm going to go back to, let's see, the polygon tool, see right there. So escape to get out of whatever tool I'm in right now. And I want to click here on this little blue polygon in the middle here, and then right click on it and see if I can get an edit. Nope. All right, then I'm just going to undo. So Control Z will undo that. I'll just do it again real quick. I did not like the look of that. Inscribe polygon, and then there, tab 8. Yeah, that's more the look. No, I want more than that though. I'm just not happy. Okay, I'm gonna live with whatever I got, and I think that'll work. So I'm just gonna click 12, like maybe a little bit smaller. I just want to leave a little bit of space here so the wood here isn't too weak. So that looks pretty good, except it's kind of tippied. So to guarantee it, I'm going to just take something. This is a horizontal vertical tool. So if you click on this one, it's going to rotate the polygon so that that is forced to be horizontal. And if you click on this one, it'll force it to be vertical. This one will do the same thing. It'll rotate it and make that side the vertical side. And because it's like more vertical than horizontal, so it's going to just kind of go to the nearest one. So you got to get it close and then kind of go there. So I'm going to click there, and you can see it just made it, just rotated it to make it parallel or horizontal there. All right, and then maybe I'm going to dimension it. And this one, I'm just going to try a different number, a slightly bigger number. I want to see what it looks like. Yeah, that's more what I wanted. So here, I didn't want 2. I just tried a number. For 2.1 might work better. I don't know. Just whatever you want to get the size of it down. And then I'm just going to extrude this and cut it out. So negative thickness. Awesome. And now you can see I've got a hole there. It's kind of got a fun shape to it. And now what I want to do is deal with the neck connection. So I built the structure of the head, the main structure of the head, and now I just need to build the neck out. So I'm going to come back over here and turn the neck on. Actually, let me create a new group, and let's call this the head. And then let's put all these in there so we don't lose track. Actually, let's fix this real quick. So bottom head, this is not the bottom of the head, this is the top of the head. And this is the left head. And here. And that all goes into there. Awesome. And now I'm going to just turn everything off except the bottom of the head because I'm going to deal with how the neck fits in. So I'm going to put the neck back on, and you can see there is no hole for these to come through, and these are just popping up in the middle of nowhere. So what I'm going to do is actually add a rectangle to this. Just a little bit bigger than those so that here, and then I'm going to dimension this from here to here to, yeah, looks like 1.25. That sounds good. And then I'm going to dimension this one to here, and I want it to be the same, so I'm just going to click on this one and say enter. That way if I adjust one and adjust the other. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. So here to there, it's going to be 1.25. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just go and grab that one. Enter, and then I'm going to dimension this side to there. And I'm just going to click on that one. Awesome. Now they're all the same. And now I'm going to extrude this, up. Extrude here, up a thickness. And here, I'm going to actually hide the neck because I don't want to join the neck right now. And then I'm just going to use join because I want this to be, it'll be 2 layers, but I want it to be one piece. And click OK. And now, yeah, awesome. Wait, is that one piece? Yeah, good. Didn't make a new piece. So let me show you a quick difference here. So I'm going to turn the bottom of the head off, turn the neck back on. This piece right here, we chose to make this piece a different piece. And the reason for that is in the neck, all the plywood is running up and down. So we couldn't just add this piece on, or it would be added to the end of the pieces of plywood. We wanted to rotate the plywood to a new direction, so we need to have a new separate piece that we're going to take apart and lay out separately and cut it separately, instead of just making all this a little bit longer here. Hopefully that made a little sense to you. And now the next thing we need to do is we need to turn the neck on, we need to turn the head, just the bottom of the head on, and we need to cut holes for this. When I made this one, I forgot to cut the holes, so if you do that, you actually don't have any way to join them, except glue. So I'm going to do the target body of the bottom of the head, tool body of the sides, and then I'm going to click OK. And that's going to cut it. And now if I move this out of the way, I can see I've got 2 holes here for those 2 slots to go into. So this is going to be a super strong joint now. I'm going to hit cancel to bring that back, and then I'm going to turn everything else back on. So far so good. There's one last thing we want to do. We want to be able to have the head be removable so that we can take it off and we can do the electronics or fix the electronics, anything ever goes wrong, and then we can just pop it back on. Now, if you leave it dry fit like mine is right now, the top of the head here is not going to have a nice fit. It's going to, over time, this piece of plywood might warp. And then, so we need something holding it down. So what we'll do is we'll build in structure so that we can screw down the top of the head. We also need to add this wall in here. And this wall is where we're going to put our LED light panel. So we need to have some kind of wall in here, but that's super easy to do. So I'll put that down for now. So 2 things we need to do is build the light panel wall and then also build in some places to screw the top down so it stays down nice and tight. All right. So to do the light panel, all we're going to do is going to be super simple. We're going to take this piece right here, and we're going to say, we're going to do M for move. And if you, let me show you a quick distinction here. If I click on it first and then I hit M, it's going to try to move just the face for me, because that's all I've selected was the face. So a better way of doing move commands is to hit M first and then click on it, and it will likely just grab the whole body instead of just the face. Although if this said face here, you'd want to do it. I'm going to create a copy because it's what I'm going to use for that, and I'm going to drag it into here somewhere, and I want to line it up so that it looks nice on those joints. So somewhere like right around there. Pretty happy with that. I want it to be a little bit of distance from here, but not too far. The farther back it is, the less light's going to actually come out of the front because it'll be bouncing around inside the head more. But too close, then you'll, through the sort of, there's like a frosted plastic on it. If you get really close, you'll actually see the outline of the LED light. You want to kind of hide that a little bit too, I think. And then, yeah, so I think that's pretty good. I'm going to say, okay. Now, what I don't want to do is have, I did that here. I have kind of like an ugly corner here where I've sort of split this tab in two, and you can see it's actually fraying here on the edges. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to take away, I'm going to, actually, let's rename this one to, I don't know, light wall. That's where the LED is going to go. And I'm going to turn everything off except this one. Let me get rid of the neck as well. And then I'm just going to take away these outside corners real quick. So I'm actually going to take them away in kind of a special way, because I also want some space to run the wires to get past this wall. So I'm going to do a few of those things right now. So I'm going to click here. And very quickly, I'm just going to come over here and drag a box like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use my collinear to go here and here, here and here. So I'm going to extrude that box away. I'm just going to do that on all the corners. And maybe I can do it like that, and then only do one collinear tool. No, this one didn't quite work. Okay, and then I'm going to do that on all four corners. This time I'm going to leave it short so I can do the collinear, and I'm going to do another one here just to go a little faster. Boom, boom. All right, so now I'm going to cut all those corners away so I don't have that sort of ugly look. And also I'm going to cut a hole here. That's a decent little hole, maybe like a, you know, like a 1 centimeter diameter hole. That's going to allow me to run wires and different things through there to get to the back of the head where the switch and stuff is going to be. And I'm going to extrude all of these. And I'm going to do a negative thickness, and that's going to cut them, and that's perfect. And now I'm going to turn everything back on, and I'm going to cut it. You know what? Actually, I don't like how close this is to the edge. So maybe I'm going to come here and say edit sketch. And I'm just going to grab this and drag it into here. And maybe that's too big. That was a pretty big hole like that. And then see if I just finish sketch. It'll take me back out. And now the hole is down here somewhere. So that was perfect. And I have these little notches cut out. So there's actually a place for wires to go down there and there in the corners if I need to as well. Okay, so that's all good. I just need to, what do I need to do? Oh, turn everything back on. So turn the head back on. And I need to cut in the joints here. So I need, this is going to take a little bit of time. I need to cut this one with that one. Say okay. I need to cut the side with that one. Okay. I need to cut the bottom of the head with the light wall. Okay. And then I need to combine and cut that side with that one. Awesome. So now all those should be cut in. So what I'm going to do is actually move the light wall out of the head and just make sure that it got cut on all sides. Yep, 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 and yep. Okay. Cancel. We're all good. So that's all ready to go. We still need to do a hole in the top for the switch. So you can put that wherever you want on the top. Or if you wanted to, you can put it on the side. It doesn't matter where it goes. It's totally up to you. Depending on how you want to interact with it, you can, put it wherever you like. I'm going to pop mine on the top. So I'm going to click here, here, and I'm going to actually find a diagonal that goes from there to there. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to do a construction line. So I do want to go, if I choose an outside edge here, I want to get to an outside edge here, not to the inside edge. Otherwise, if it's not the same, if I chose an inside of a tab, I would go to the inside of another tab. That way it would be actually this is in the middle. If I did it like outside to an inside, this would be a little bit to the right and wouldn't be in the middle. But you don't have to center it. You could put it like back here in the corner if you want. It's like wherever you want to put it is fine. And then, so I'm going to go here. And I'm going to create a hole. I forget how big it is, so let me measure it real quick just to make sure we get the right value. And this we want nice and snug. It really depends on what also, at this point, you may want to go grab a switch. I've got several different types of switches, and that's going to determine how big a hole you cut. So make sure you're stopping here and actually grabbing the switch that you're going to use, and not just doing whatever I'm doing, unless you're going to use whatever I used. So for me, I get 0.578 centimeters. So I'm going to round that up to 0.6. I don't need to round it up much. Because I do want it to be fairly snug. So 0.6 centimeters, enter, and then I'm going to extrude this. Okay, maybe I'm not going to extrude that. Extrude. Oh, this is doing it again. So for some reason, sometimes my Fusion doesn't, it gets glitchy on me. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to Control save it. I'm going to close Fusion down and reopen it, and it should work again for me. I'm going to pause the video while I do that. All right, so restarting Fusion helped. I'm going to do an extrusion, and I'm just going to extrude. Oh, I wasn't extruding. And then a negative thickness. That was my fault. And now I'm through. Yep, now I'm through. Cool. So that's it for the head for now. We still need to figure in how to get the screws to build into so we can hold the head on and be able to take it off when we need to. And then from there, yeah, we're going to be really close. We got to still actually build in a port for the power cable here. So we got to have a plug for that. All right, so that'll be the next video.